hang on where I'm standing, because then that seems like it would bring them into me. Almost as if it was like a wave of water, like just stand and take it and then grab them out of it.
All right, go ahead and give me a roll.
14. Finally, something that with 2 digits.
That's a success. You accomplished what you were trying to do without any compromises. Explain to me the image of this moment as you rescue your new friend from the swarm of rats.
So the wave of rats rolls in.
I wish I hadn't picked rat.
I'm the one that's gotta wade through them now. Yesulga plants his feet and lets the first few kind of run into his shins and prepares himself to catch this guy. And just as soon as his body is brought close enough, he just bear hugs him and drops to the ground, hoping that the weight of their bodies together is too much for the rats to hold.
And it is. They don't hold both of you. You feel like tiny rat feet tip, 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 across your back, and then finally it stops, and like both of you just lie there for a second, and then you both slowly stand up and look around, and the rats are gone. That was scary. I hated that every moment. Except for the part where you hugged me. That was great.
That is not a normal occurrence for me. I may need a moment to take down this memory. No, I should not. I don't have the time. If you could do me a favor, please try to remember as much as you can about that experience, and we shall recreate it on stage for our patrons at the gallery. But for now, we must move.
Man, I could never forget that. That was freaky as heck.
Good.
Oh my god. And the two of you guys leave the alleyway, back out into not quite as busy of a street. Before you were kind of in the more like middle class part of town, but now you're going toward the art gallery. It's more of like the wealthier district. There's not a lot of people out because it's early evening, so most people would be inside eating dinner or getting ready to go to their events. Not many people out for a stroll right now. When you hear behind you the clinking of metal and the scurrying of footsteps, not rat footsteps, but just regular footsteps.
All right, we just hear it. We don't see anything.
So if you look around, you would see sort of like from behind the corners of one of the buildings, there's like a shadow poking out from the side.
Directly along the path that we're taking to get to the gallery?
It was coming from behind you, so if you turn around to look, you would see that.
Well, for Yesulga, that is not something that he's terribly concerned with. Yeah, he just continues down the same path and doesn't even look.
Awesome. So what is something on you? Like, what's something that's in your inventory?
I have a short staff that right now is across my back, and a small flask hangs at my right hip with a little bit of hallucinogenic water.
So here's what happens. You guys continue walking for a little bit. You do keep hearing like this rustling kind of behind you. You just kind of brush it off, keep walking, and then suddenly, like very, very quickly, you look down and your flask is gone, but immediately standing in front of you are these two kids, and one of them is holding your flask. Like they did a really good job pickpocketing you, but then like did a bad job getting away. You see before you these two young thieves. They're moon spirits, so they have very, very pale skin, as white as the moon, but they have sort of like a strange shadowy aura around them. You can tell like that's probably the shadow that you saw. So what do?
I yell out to them, "Please, that is mine, and it is very valuable to me."
They're standing right in front of you. Do you still yell at them?
Yes, I still yell at them out of shock.
So you shout right in their faces, and they start a little bit and take a few steps back, and one of them goes, "But we didn't take anything." And you can tell they are lying. They definitely took your flask. They're holding it in their hands.
I see. You're right. You didn't take anything, and I'd like to cast Mesmerize.
Ooh, talk to me about Mesmerize.
So I would like to form the illusion that they don't have anything in their hands. I just have to spend one AP.
Amazing. So what image do we just see them holding it and then suddenly like their vision fogs and then they're not holding it anymore?
It's just an optical illusion, so they can probably still feel it, but it looks like there's nothing in their hand. And I'd like to, if I can, use that opportunity to like advance on them and just try and grab it right out of their hands.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's definitely like they have this moment of confusion. They look between them, and one of them goes, Did we take something? And a similar moment to what you had earlier. They look down and they have nothing in their hands, and when they look back up, you have it back. And there's one that's like, they're both kids, but one of them's like smaller than the other. And the smaller looking one goes, Come on. You want to fight? Put 'em up.
No, young one, you mistake me. I simply want my belongings back that you've taken.
And then the older one goes, You're not going to turn us in, are you?
No, I admire the craft that you've performed here, and I understand that someone of your age must make certain mistakes to gain experience. I do hope that you learn something from it, and that this experience is something that you remember.
It seems like maybe it went over the younger one's head. They go, You can't tell us what to do. You can't. Put 'em up. But the older one she puts her hand on their shoulder and goes, We'll be more cautious of the consequences of our action in the future. And looks sheepishly at the ground.
Good, I think that you will remember this moment. In fact, would you like to come with me? I, as I said, have not planned to tell anyone about what has happened here, but I could use your feelings from this moment in my art that I will be performing very close to here. In fact, in exchange, I could give you a small amount of what I have in this flask here.
That would be beyond generous. I smelled that flask, the contents of it. That could pay for my dinner. Of course, absolutely. By the way, and she holds out a hand. My name is Luna, and this is my sibling Dusk.
Luna and Dusk is very poetic. I think that we were meant to have this encounter together, but we do not have much time for what time is worth. We need to hurry altogether.
All right, so you guys hurry up. You find the gallery. You come up, and must be where all the rich people were, because there is a huge crowd outside, and they're totally all the way up to the door. You can see there is like a bouncer / guard person at the front door, but it is very crowded right outside of this gallery right now. What do? You need to get inside. There's a lot of people around, and this isn't just your fans; it's also the fans of other artists. It might be a little tricky to get inside. So how do you want to go about this?
Let's see. I don't know if this would work on a crowd of this size, but I'd like to bamboozle them into thinking that the entrance to the gallery is whatever the next building over is.
I don't know, like maybe you could bamboozle one person, and then you could roll a die and see if it works, and they will convince everybody else.
I like that idea.
Excellent. So who do you seek out to bamboozle?
Who's the tallest person that I can see?
Okay, there is a large, sentient, metal, gender-fluid individual with a cowboy hat.
Yes.
And they are so tall as like a telephone pole, basically.
Oh, wow.
So they're very tall. You could go to them.
That's exactly who I'm looking for, the most visible person, clearly, to try and bamboozle them into leading the pack to a separate door.
Yeah, so do you have to say things, or do you just, like, plant the thought in their mind? Like, what does that look like?
It's going to be a long thread, but you see, again, a set of 3 strands of this barely visible silk come from Yesulga's forehead, spiraling around, reaching up to this metal person's eyes and forehead. From there, you see a few wrap from that forehead point all the way around, forming like a small circlet around their head, and from that the being's head would turn towards where they believe the actual entrance to the gallery is.
They are kind of bent over to sort of be more a part of the crowd, I guess. Yeah, so they grow up to their full height, the size of a telephone pole, and in this voice that is very metallic and tinny in nature, they go, I think that we're at the wrong door. I think we might be at the wrong door. And their voice is very loud and it kind of rings throughout the crowd. Go ahead and give me a roll to see how this goes.
All right. Ooh, 16.
Amazing. So the crowd all follows. Luckily, your three companions, they start to go in that direction, but you grab them by the shoulders and you're like, no, the entrance is over here. And the three of you guys head up to the door, and the guard is there. He is a white male humanoid, but like it's a little bit harder to tell if he's actually humanoid because he's covered in battle scars all over. He's got leather armor and this Viking helmet, this thick beard, and he looks down at you and goes, "You cannot go in yet."
Oh, but I am Yesulga, and I am going to be performing my art here. I need to be inside.
He scratches his beard and goes, "If you are Yesulga, why are you not already here?"
That is a good question, and I must admit that I lost track of time and space somewhat. Mostly time. I apologize for my lateness, but I am here and do need to pass by you so that I may prepare my art.
"I do not recognize you." And he just glares at you with these just like dark brown eyes.
I don't believe that we've met before, but surely someone has described me to you so that you would be able to let in Yesulga once he arrived.
"I was told that Yesulga was 4'9". You are clearly much shorter than that."
Well, I would not say that I am much shorter than that.
So you sent them a description of yourself. It said you were taller than you were.
Yes. Oh, he totally did that. He for sure put 4'9" and is 4'8" and was like, yeah, this will be fine. Well, that is a description that I sent to the director here, but that's for 9 once I'm in a pair of boots, and as you can see, I'm barefoot, which would be why I appear slightly shorter than that.
He raises an eyebrow. Go ahead and make a roll.
19.
Excellent.
Man, these rolls turned around.
He raises an eyebrow and then goes, "That does make sense. I suppose that you should put on your boots before you go inside, lest somebody else be as confused as I was." And he opens the door for you.
Great.
And the four of you guys go into the building. He doesn't seem to question that you brought guests. He is respectful of your artistry. When you get inside, this woman comes up to you. She, as I believe I explained this to the audience ahead of time, she has these tentacles flying out from all parts of her face. She has these flowing gold robes with royal blue accents. She has pale blue skin. And she goes, Yesulga, you're late. Ugh.
I do apologize. I value your time, and I am very sorry to have arrived slightly after I'd intended.
It's embarrassing for me. Go to your place. Go to your place and we can let the people in.
Yes, I will do so, and I've brought these three with me. They will be helping me to perform today.
And the four of you go over to where you've got a circular stage set up. And they open the doors. The bouncer opens the doors, and for a minute, it's almost as if like the people don't know where the entrance is. But eventually they start ushering themselves in and finding their way into the gallery. They stop by several of the sculptures. They look at the paintings, ooh and ah, over the dancers, and then they land on you. Why don't you go ahead and give me a description of what your performance looks like?
With Yesulga's three guests, he is going to ask each of them individually, starting with his first encounter, to describe certain things that they remember about being carried by the rats and different tangible aspects that they describe that they remember. Yesulga then, as this person describes, you see many of these tiny threads reach out to the audience, and the audience begins to feel those same things, the bristly hair, the undulation on their back, they continue to feel those sensations as Yesulga changes focus to the two younger friends that he's made and asks them to describe how they felt when they were caught. He, of course, doesn't reveal exactly what had happened, but says something along the lines of, during our encounter together,